Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we're going to go over how to read text from a file. So we're going to need to import four things. We're going to import the file class. We're going to import the file reader class. We're going to import the buffered reader class. And then lastly, we're going to import the IO exception class, just like that. Okay. Now what you could also do is just simply do java.io asterisk, and then of course a semicolon. What this does is it imports everything. So it's really up to you what you want to do. Okay, so all right, once we're done with that, we're gonna go ahead and create a variable of type string, and we'll call it file path. Okay, and what this is going to hold is the path to the file that we want to read from. So I have this file here called special message, and it's on the desktop. If we click up here, okay, you'll see that it highlights the whole path, but it doesn't have the name of the file at the end here. So we'll add that in just a second. Do Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste. Now you'll also see that the IDE adds an additional slash on there. And the reason for this is because Java treats single slashes as special characters, more specifically escape characters, okay? But we'll go over that in more detail in another video. Just know that when you're specifying a path, you need to provide two backslashes, okay? All right, so once we do that, we provide the two slashes on there, and then we type the name of the file. So special message, just like that. All right, next up, we need to create the file object, and then this file constructor requires us to provide the file path. So it's the one that we just created here, okay? All right, next up, we need to create the file reader object. Okay, so we go ahead and create the file reader object. Okay, and then this constructor will also require us to provide an input, and in here we're going to provide the file. Okay. All right, next up we need to create the buffered reader object. So we'll go ahead and create the buffered reader object, and of course this constructor also requires an input, and we'll provide the file reader variable on there. Okay. So as you can see, there's a sort of a pattern here. We created this file path, okay, and then we used it in this constructor. We created this file variable, and then we used it in this constructor. We created this file reader variable, and then we're using it in this constructor. Okay, so it sort of cascades down. Okay. All right, next up, we're going to save the text that we're going to pull out in a variable called text of type string. And here is where we use the buffered reader, and we're going to call the read line method on it. Okay. And what this is going to do is it's going to read the first line in the text file. Okay. That's all going to be saved inside of text. So you'll notice that it's showing two errors on here. If we hover over, you'll see that it's complaining about an unhandled exception. And the reason this shows up is because it's saying, hey, what do you want me to do if I'm looking for that file and this file doesn't exist? Okay, so it requires you to throw an exception, okay? And there's two things that you can do. What I would recommend is actually wrapping this in a try and catch block. Okay, so you would try to access the file, or I should say, try to access and read from the file. And if it's not there, some sort of exception happens, then in the catch block, log some sort of error or anything like that. But since we haven't gone over exception handling just yet, there is an easier way to fix this, and it's by adding an exception to the method signature. Okay, so if you click on that, it'll automatically add it to the method signature up here, and you'll see that all the errors go away. All right, and then lastly down here, what we're going to do is we're going to print out the message onto the console window, okay? Just like that. So let's go ahead and run it. And you'll see here we get this text, and if we go to the text file and we open it, we get the same text. Okay. All right. So hope you guys learned something. That's all for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Thanks.